Alright, hello there guys, and welcome to the first episode of Novice2Master Redstone. And in this series I'll be teaching you right from the basics, right at the basics, to quite expert stuff in Redstone. And not only Redstone, but the stuff of Redstone effects. So in this episode it will be right down to the basics. And so to start off with, we'll be starting off with just a piece of redstone dust. Now, before we get started, there'll be a link in the description to this world. You can download it. I recommend you download it, and you'll see a emerald line which has already had the redstone parts put into it, and you'll see a lapis line which has not had the redstone put into it. And so you can use the emerald as a reference and the lapis as a do-it-yourself line, and I suggest that you do it along with me. I think you'll learn more that way. So, first off, you've got a piece of redstone dust, and if you place it on the ground, you can see that it forms just a square dot. And so this is the most basic piece of redstone, nothing more, nothing else, nothing less. What you can do with this one dot, so we can replicate this here, is you can make a line of redstone. You can see there's a line. Now, I know this is probably quite basic, but that's what we're going to go through. Next, what you can do is you can join up two bits which are right angles to each other and make a corner piece of redstone. The signal will then go around the corner and follow on whichever way your signal is wanting to go. Fourth property of redstone dust is that it can travel down and up blocks. So you can change the altitude of them rather than just being a linear plane. Alright, so that's the basics to redstone. Now, redstone dust. You'll see that this redstone is really dark at the moment, and that's because it's in its off state. And if you place down a redstone torch, you can see that it's got bright red on the top and it's got particles coming out of it. This is in its on state, and all redstone torches are in their on state by default. And with this on state, what you can do is you can power a piece of redstone next to it. So you can compare this piece of redstone, it's quite red and it's got the particle effects coming off it, compared to these pieces of redstone. They're all quite dark with no particle effects. So a limitation of redstone, the length of the signal, is it can travel 15 blocks, and on the 16th the power won't be there. So you can power it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, and on the 16th block it will no longer be powered. So this is something we'll also cover further on the series. Now, the third piece of redstone, the third most basic part of redstone, is a redstone repeater. Now, a redstone repeater is not powered by default, as you can see it's on the off state, but when you give it a signal, we'll use this torch for now, it will turn on. Another thing with repeaters is you can only power them from behind them. You can't power from front or to the side. You can tell the back of a repeater for which side this line is on the repeater. The torch that's all by itself is always at the front, and the line with the torch somewhere in the middle of it is always the back. You can also power redstone repeaters with a bit of redstone dust in it. Now we can also see that you can power it along the line. Another part with redstone repeaters, which is quite essential to almost every build, is that redstone repeaters actually have a little bit of delay before they change states. Now, changing state is either going from, you can see it's on at the moment. Changing state means it's turning from on to off, or off to on. Now, in a repeater, in its default state, it has 1 tick of delay, and if you look closely, compare this piece of redstone dust to this redstone repeater, you'll see that the redstone dust will turn off exactly 1/10 of a second before the redstone repeater turns off. And vice versa, when it turns on, the redstone dust will turn on, and then 1/10 of a second later, the redstone repeater will turn on. So 1/10 of a second, it can also be called a tick in redstone language, and a tick just denotes 1/10 of a second. Now, redstone repeaters can be actually changed to have more delay. So as you can see here, they're all identical, and if we remove the redstone repeater and remove the power, they'll all turn off at the same time. compared to each other. But what you can do is you can also right click repeaters and you can change the delay on them. So as you can see here, we've got 1 tick over further, so this repeater actually has 2 ticks delay on it, so wherever the input's coming in, it will change 2 ticks later. If you click it 2 times, it'll turn to 3 ticks delay, and the final and longest length you can have per repeater is a 4 tick delay. Now if we're going to remove this redstone lamp, you'll see that this one turns off 1 tick after the redstone wire turns off. This will turn off 2 ticks, 3 ticks, and 4 ticks. So if you watch it now, you can see that they all turn off, although they progressively turn off 1/10 of a second after each other. Same with turning on. This one turns on first, and a tick later this one turns on, 2 ticks this one turns on, and 3 ticks this one turns on. So that's the basics of redstone repeater. Again, we'll be covering more in future episodes. Now we've been using a redstone torch to power redstone dust at the moment, but there are also other methods of actually controlling it, and you can have input blocks. So a stone lever, in the default it's off, and when we hit it once it will turn on and it will stay on indefinitely. Then to turn it off we need to actually input it again and it will turn off. As you can see here, keeps on flicking. Next piece we can have is a stone button. Stone button, once it's hit, will turn on the redstone dust for 1 second exactly, and then turn off. I have to hit it again to restart it. There's another kind of button, which is a wooden button, and this wooden button will do almost the exact same as stone buttons. So as you hit it, it will turn on and it will turn off, but it comes with a difference because it can be activated by entities. Oh, sorry about that. Go get back further. Alright, so now we're back out of hitting range of it, and if we shoot an arrow into there, the arrow will actually depress or actually press the button and it'll turn it on, and it will stay on until either the arrow despawns or the player removes the arrow. It will do the same delay as it would normally do as it's hit, and then it will turn off. Another kind of input is a stone pressure plate. As you walk onto it, turns on and then off. The delay on this is slightly shorter than a button, but there's still a minimal amount of delay. I think it's about 4 ticks, even if you're staying on the pressure plate for only 1 tick. And then you've got the same in a wooden version, and surprisingly this has the same properties as the wooden button, in that you can fire an arrow onto it and it'll activate it, and it'll deactivate once you remove it, but also when you throw items onto it, it will turn on, and when the items despawn or get moved, they will turn it off. The final method of basic powering redstone is with a tripwire. Tripwire behaves the same as a wooden pressure plate. You can stand on it, redstone dust will activate it. Sorry, any item will activate it, not just redstone dust. So yeah, that's the basics of redstone, tripwire, except they can be extended longer. They can have more than one piece of string in the middle of them. So that concludes the extreme basics for redstone. I hope you enjoyed this episode, and there will be many future episodes to come. I've got 14 lined up at the moment, but there is sure to be more to be added to them. So thank you for watching. If you enjoyed it, please let me know in the comments. If you felt that I missed something out that should be placed in this extreme basics section, please let me know as well, and I'll append it to a part B, because I'd like to make it a complete guide as possible. Again, thank you for watching. I hope this was beneficial to some of you, and for others that it wasn't beneficial, stay tuned for later episodes, because I'm sure there will be stuff that that will either teach you or increase your knowledge. So, again, thank you for watching, and I shall see you next time.